business tax lady herself, Miss Lysandra Everett. But before I introduce her, I want to welcome everyone to the call, whether you're listening here on the phone line or via the web, or you are following our call on Facebook Live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Winning Women Network Midday Activation Call. We are here every day to motivate you, to activate you, to inspire you, and to encourage you in every area of your life. We are here 12 noon Eastern or 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time if you're like me over here in the West Coast. I want you to know that we also have prayer calls every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern or that's 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can send your prayer requests to Tisha Colston, Kathy McCoy, myself, or Arvella Baddock, or Sequoia Harbor. You could inbox us and we'll pray for you, or you could just use the hashtag prayer request and we will get those. Now look, if you want access to these recordings, the previous recordings, please go to the winningwomennetwork.org and get yourself signed up to get those and do what you need to do. You don't want to miss out on any of these calls. Well, I am excited now to introduce our speaker, so hold on one second. Let me get the recording started. Call recording is on. Today, I would love to introduce my friend, my cohort in this work that we have been doing in the Winning Women Network, none other than Lysandra Everett, the home biz tax lady. She is the owner of Everett Tax Solutions, specializing in home business taxes and tax debt resolution. She's an Army veteran, wife, and mom of two. She's a passionate, lifelong teacher and the go-to girl when it comes to home business taxes. She is the creator of her signature course, Can't Tax This, designed to teach home business owners and independent contractors about their tax deductions and rules to win the tax game. And I want to add, she's also pretty funny. If you watch her on Facebook Live, she's there every day. She always makes me laugh. Hey, Lysandra, are you ready?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, can somebody let me know if you can hear me okay on Facebook Live? Because I had a terrible issue with sound this morning. It was just a complete and total train wreck. So if you can hear me, throw up a number 1 on Facebook Live and we will get started. So first, I want to thank you all for joining us on the Winning Women Network and joining me live here. Awesome. We're clear on Facebook Live. That's great. So today, I want to tackle this great subject about the IRS and Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin is a type of cryptocurrency, and there's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, and with these these currencies, they're called cryptocurrencies, virtual currencies, digital currency. Okay. But the nuts and bolts is this is a new form of money that is floating around. There are more and more retailers that are starting to take Bitcoin. So what does the IRS have to say about that? And that's actually a really good question. And I want to thank Miss Nicole for I got a lot of friends named Nicole, but Nicole for bringing this to my attention so that I can address this issue. Okay, let's talk about how does the IRS view Bitcoin? Like, what is it? So even though it's used as currency, the IRS views Bitcoin as property. So it's not viewed as actual money. Okay. And so it's treated as such, as property. However, it is a property that has a US dollar value. So what that means is that the use of this still has a value. Now, so let's start with that. Okay, so it's subject to the same information reporting as if you were being paid in US dollars. And let me explain what I mean by that. So for independent contractors, if you earn $600 or more in Bitcoin, if somebody pays you in $600 or more in value in Bitcoin, then that gets reported to the IRS. You should report that as income. Okay, if you are self-employed, it's income. Even if you are an employee and you get paid with Bitcoin, you still have to get a W-2. It's still subject to holding, and that gets reported to the IRS as well. All right. The other issue with Bitcoin also that most people don't know is that if you use Bitcoin to pay for something, it's still treated as a sale of property. And with that, that means that you have to report that sale. So, so when we're talking about dealing with Bitcoin, listen, wait, let me laugh, hold on. Because a lot of tax professionals see Bitcoin and run in the opposite direction. And the reason is that the tax laws are starting to catch up with the whole Bitcoin thing, okay? As a matter of fact, right now, as of a month ago was the last update I got, the IRS is in a big fight with Coinbase, which is a very large Bitcoin retailer, to subpoena their records for people who have been purchasing and using Bitcoin from 2013 to 2015, which it wasn't until I do believe 2014 that they really put out some guidance. But but recently they've narrowed that scope to only ask for information for people who have had $20,000 or more in transactions with Coinbase. Okay. So nuts and bolts is the IRS has got their eye open with this whole Bitcoin thing. So that is also one of the other reporting things. So we talk about the payment settlement entities, right? The payment settlement entities like, a PayPal or something like that, they have to report your transactions with Bitcoin. If you have 200 transactions or $20,000 or more, then you should be receiving a 1099-K to report that income on your tax return. So, so like I said, Bitcoin being it's not new, but the IRS laws are still evolving. As a matter of fact, they've got to report to Congress on this. It didn't say exactly when, but they've got to report to Congress on this, on how to move forward. Let's see, for you. Okay, so for you, the Bitcoin buyer, one of the things that you need to know, the key thing that you need to know is your basis. Basis is what you paid for it. So when you bought this Bitcoin, how much was it when you bought it? That is your basis, because as you gain or lose, you're going to have to report that to the IRS. And you have to know how much you paid for it in order to know whether you had a gain or loss, right? Now, whether or not it would be, there's two different types of gains, and this is way more than you probably want to know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. But there's a capital gain and there's an ordinary gain, and it's taxed differently. And so if it's considered a capital asset, which is you've had it for a year or longer, then it's taxed at a different rate than if it was at an ordinary gain. Okay. Ordinary gain is regular income tax rate. All right. So let's talk about how this looks. So let's just say you decide to go buy tickets to the basketball game. Okay. And that ticket outlet accepts Bitcoin, and I don't know, maybe it's 2,000 Bitcoin. I have no idea. Right. But let's just say that's what the value of Bitcoin at that time was $2,000. Well, depending on what you paid for that, once you buy those tickets, that is considered a sale of your Bitcoin. So whatever your gain or perhaps loss is, that is a reportable event. Okay. Again, if you are so let's just say if for some reason I decided to accept Bitcoin, if you pay me for services in Bitcoin, I have to report that as income based on what it's currently worth. And you have to report the sale of your Bitcoin and determine whether you are at a gain or loss. Okay. Is that making sense to everybody? I can't hear you on the phone, but online, or is that making sense to everybody? So, Bitcoin is, even though we're using it as money, the IRS doesn't treat it as money. It's treated like a pen. Okay. It's treated as property, like stocks and bonds. That's how Bitcoin is treated at the IRS level. Now, I got my notes, y'all, so I can make sure I cover my bases here. Okay. So people who mine for Bitcoin, this was a lot. There's a lot on this. Okay. So a person who mines for Bitcoin as a trade or business, you are subject to self-employment tax. Okay. So I see a lot of people who are, who are selling Bitcoin. If you're doing that as a trade or business, yeah, you are subject to self-employment tax. You do need to file a Schedule C. At the same time, you also get to deduct the expenses, but you also have to report that income on your tax return. If you have a job mining Bitcoin, then you have to report that on your tax return. Let's see. We already talked about self-employment tax. We talked about wages. Oh, again, the information reporting. Now, this is where people are going to start to get in trouble. Okay, it's the information part, because a lot of times, people have asked me, how is the IRS gonna know? Well, right now, listen, it's new, but I'm telling you what your requirements are, right? So if you choose to do something else and you get busted, 'tis not my fault. But the information reporting, again, just like if you were dealing strictly with cash, okay? If you earn $600 or more in Bitcoin income, if that's the value of your Bitcoin, you have to report that. You should receive a 1099 miscellaneous. If you pay someone $600 or more in Bitcoin and that value, you have to issue a 1099, and you're subject to those same 1099 rules. If you are a third-party processor, 200 transactions or $20,000 or more, that's a 1099K. Those are the things that should be issued and received. And when those things, if you receive it in the mail, that means that it's sitting at the IRS and they're just waiting for you to confirm the numbers, okay? It's subject, we already talked about it being subject to withholding. Yeah, so those are the nuts and bolts, and you will be subject to penalties. Okay. If you get caught underreporting your income because you got it in Bitcoin, you will be subject to penalties, an underreporting penalty or underpayment penalty for your taxes. Okay. It's like I said, the tax laws are catching up, slowly but surely, but they are catching up. And these are the current reporting requirements. So it's just like anything else, because it has a US dollar value, but it's still treated as property, not as currency. What does that mean on the foreign end? Okay, so because it's treated as property and not as currency, then the foreign reporting rules really don't apply here as like money does. So with foreign reporting, there are, I think, about 115 countries that report directly to the IRS when you have a certain amount of money sitting in their banks. Okay. But because this is property and not actual currency, cash, it doesn't really fall under the same rules. Okay. What else? I think that is, that's really the nuts and bolts of it. So going forward, what are the takeaways here? I always got to give my takeaways. What is get down with the get down, right? So the takeaway here is this: when you buy your Bitcoin, know what your basis is. In other words, keep all your receipts, know what you paid for it. And so annually, when you have to report, have to report your gain or loss for this Bitcoin, like you would do anything else. When you buy stuff with Bitcoin, it's treated as a sale of that property. So you need to know your gain or loss. And the only way to know that is if you know exactly how much you paid for it when you bought it. Okay. So, hey, this Bitcoin thing, even though it's not really brand new, it's still kind of new. People are still learning about it. I'm still learning about it, but I'm learning about it from the tax perspective, and it's still being formulated. That's what it boils down to. So on the phone, thank you so much for joining us here at the Winning Women Network. We are here Monday through Friday at noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific. So we will see you back tomorrow with our spotlight guest, Michelle Cornish, as she talks about building a business along with a marriage. Okay. So thanks so much for you guys on the phone, and we will see you next time. Bye. Okay, so here I am on my Facebook Live. Anybody got any questions about Bitcoin while I'm still here? That's the bonus of being live on Facebook, right? You get to hang out a little bit longer than being on the phone. Anybody got any questions? So we got a little bit of a delay, so I'll wait just a moment. Anyone? Thank you to everybody that joined and share this out, you guys, because, I do see a lot of people that are selling Bitcoin, and as to whether or not they know the rules, that's going to be important, because we really don't want anybody being in IRS trouble when it comes to this stuff. Okay. So listen, that's it for me, you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye.